from Gravy English, and it's already been a few weeks after I posted my last video, and I do apologize for that because like most of you, I've also been very busy trying to strike a balance between my job and my family life, especially during this new normal and the pandemic, of course. Now, I know that a lot of you, you're also coping with so many changes. I mean, most of you maybe are trying to adapt to working from home. Some, unfortunately, may have lost their jobs already, and yes, others are still on the lookout for new jobs. Now, I think what I'm most concerned with for this video is the fact that more and more people are trying and hoping to be working from home or getting a job working from home. And of course, one of those jobs is teaching English or other topics or courses from home, because people just stay at home. They would like to do something, do some self-improvement, and that includes improving their communication skills, or some parents may want their kids to improve their academic skills. So yes, the demand for teachers is ever growing. It's also understandable because working from home is very convenient. I mean, the home could be the safest place you can work from, and you can also work according to the schedule that you like. And so it's very flexible, and it allows you to earn income based on how many hours you would like to work, and also allows you to choose the best company that would hire you as a teacher. There are many advantages, of course, and financial benefits or career-wise benefits to working online or teaching online. However, there are also disadvantages, or teaching from home or teaching online may also have some negative impact to you as a teacher or as a working professional. And that is what I would like to talk about for today's video. Now, the thing is, just the other week I was watching this FB or Facebook live streaming by an online English teacher who apparently was very upset because the company terminated her. And while it was not clear for what reason, but she was talking about the company not really appreciating her work as a professional teacher, and not being able to provide her the benefits that she deserves. And she was also telling about the company cutting off her good relationship with her students. She was very disappointed, and she was mentally negatively affected by what happened, or by her experience with that company. This situation made me realize that aside from the financial benefits or advantages or other material benefits of working from home as an online teacher, there are certain things that you also need to consider and seriously think about when you're working, and that includes your mental health. Or working, and that includes your mental health. Now, I've been in this industry for 17 years, and I do have some personal thoughts and ideas that I hope I could share with you. Tip number one is make yourself a priority, not your students or the company. Now, you might disagree with me on this idea, but for the longest time, I always think that I am more important than the company I work for or the students that I teach. You have to think, especially if you are a part-time worker or if you are contracting your service like I do, that the company would not really take care of your hospitalization or give you additional benefits if ever you get sick. Although I'm not saying that all companies do that. I mean, some companies, they do provide some health benefits like HMO to their employees, but for most companies that I've worked for and I know, they don't provide this kind of benefits for the teachers. So you really have to take care of yourself. And how you do that, first you make sure that you eat your meal, or you eat well before your shift. Now, some teachers would complain the company doesn't even check if they have eaten well or if they have enough time to take a break and eat their lunch or eat their snack. But the thing is, especially if you're teaching online and you have a flexible schedule, you should be able to make sure that you do so before you even start work. Also, don't work if you're really or sick or you're not feeling well. Some teachers, they think twice before they cancel their schedules or be absent for their shift because they worry and they think about their income. But the thing is, your health is more important than your income. So make sure that you take a good rest if you think that you really need it. Another point is to create and commit to a schedule that really fits your lifestyle. If you're not a night person, then don't accept teaching jobs during the night shift and take day shifts instead. Number 2 is to manage your time well. Now, I know you hear this all the time, but the question is, do we really practice it? You have to make sure that you're not actually opening too many back-to-back classes that it's impossible for you to have reasonable breaks or to even have time to eat. So some teachers are tempted to work like straight 4 hours or 5 hours, and they don't have enough time to include breaks or to eat their snacks during those times. So try to avoid that. Managing your time well also includes finishing your tasks within the time allotted. Now, if you are an online English teacher like me, then you probably have experience making or creating reports or feedback for each of your students every after class, or even weekly or monthly. And this is on top of the actual teaching that you provide for your students and the company. Now, in my case, what I do, I simplify my tasks and I, for example, prepare some templates that I use as my notes when I'm conducting my classes. So I have these ready templates for corrections and some comments, and I fill them in while I'm teaching my students. So some teachers may do it differently, like they do everything at the end of each shift or at the end of the day, and they would try to recall the lessons or recall the corrections or practices that they did with their student. But I think this is not really a good strategy because it takes more time, and also it's not as accurate as when you make your notes during the class. So depending on the kind of your work or your responsibility, just try to create a strategy so that you are not using too much of your time, especially time that is outside of your actual teaching schedule. Tip number 3 is don't chase the money and keep ground on what really matters. Now, what I'm trying to drive at here is you should not really work beyond your physical capacity. I've heard of online teachers who would work more than 8 hours, some even 10 to 12 hours, so that they can earn $40,000 or even $60,000 in a month. But I think that's too much. You're overextending yourself, and though you might be able to do it for a few weeks or a few months, it will have a negative effect on your health, especially your mental health. So do not exhaust yourself. And again, going back to my first tip, make your health, your physical and mental health your priority. Another point that I would like to make is to avoid doing other tasks that would only add up to the pressure or the stress that you already have from doing your main job. In my case, I'm a part-time online English teacher, and sometimes the company offers me replacement classes. These classes are available for us teachers who have more flexible time but are available to take in classes from teachers who are absent during sickness. But replacement classes can be stressful for you because you have to act right away. You have to make decisions to take the classes right away, even though you're doing something else. And you have to be there for the student right away. You have to prepare yourself quickly, unless, of course, you're already there at your desktop and you're ready to take classes. But most of the time, maybe you're not yet prepared, but you have to act quickly and move quickly. And this situation may only add stress to you. So try not to do those things, to do this thing. And the most important point for this tip is to not sacrifice your sleeping time. Nowadays, it's very common to find companies who offer jobs to teachers who can teach during the graveyard shift, which is from around 10 p.m. until very early, or until like 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. in the morning. Now, they may offer you more handsome income, but then again, think very well. If you are not able to sleep well and not function well because you're working the graveyard shift like me, then maybe you should not accept those kinds of offer. Tip number 4 is to stay healthy. This is again a very important tip for you to make sure that you are taking care of your mental health. And when I say stay healthy, make sure that you are hydrated all throughout your work shift. Make sure that you have a water ready to drink, and you make sure that you're drinking at least 8 to maybe 12 glasses every day. You might have heard of this, but this is very important. And also try to provide yourself ergonomic tables or desks and chair. You might not be thinking that this is important, but from my years of experience, I know that these things are a must. You'll be working for long hours, in my case at most 3 hours every shift, so I need to make sure that I'm not uncomfortable, and if I'm not sitting on a chair suitable for me, then I would definitely have back aches and discomfort that would last for days. So think about those things. And lastly, make sure that you exercise. If not every day, make it a regular habit to exercise every week, so you are always recharged and energized and always happy and ready for your job. Number 5 is to connect with fellow teachers. Most of the time, you are working alone at your desk at home, and you might not have anyone to speak to when you finish your shift. And this could be very lonely, and it could be stressful to you, especially if you're encountering problem when you're teaching. So try to find a way to connect to teachers or to people who work like you. Nowadays, it's so easy to do that. You can connect with teachers on Facebook groups, or you can join some chat groups elsewhere. And by doing that, you are updated with some information, and you also have someone to speak with if there are things that bother you, or there are problems that you would like to talk about, especially problems about your job. Tip number 6 is to not dwell on the negative comments of your students or your company. In other words, try to focus on what you do well, and yes, be happy about them. Of course, you cannot satisfy or please everybody. Some students may complain about you, but do not really dwell on that. Do not make that the center of your attention, because we are still human and we make mistakes, and you just have to try your best next time and improve yourself, and yes, love yourself for the things that you do very well. Tip number 7 is to separate your workspace from your relaxation space. Now, this may not be so obvious to you, but it's also very important that after work you get to relax and also have that opportunity to really forget about your work and to recharge and have time to rest. And one of the best ways and easiest way to do that is to have a separate space or area where you work. And ideally that would be somewhere that's not inside your bedroom, because your bedroom is your space for relaxation and sleep. But of course, if it cannot be avoided, then maybe modify your room, put up some curtains or some dividers, so you can still have this imagination or this mental state that you are actually resting and not doing your work anymore. So there you are, some helpful tips to help you care for your mental health. I hope this video gave you some inspiration and also help you to realize the importance and what you can do about keeping a healthy mind and body while you do your job as an online English teacher or when you're doing your online job. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you again soon.